Okay, there is a very, very important support area that we need to keep an eye on Bitcoin. These price levels are a big indicator on whether or not we're going to start seeing bearish momentum build up, or if we're going to start seeing that bearish momentum, at least in the short term, fade away, and we can just start looking at higher prices coming up soon. Now, the thing I want to point out is that right now, as the price continues to trade and as we wait over this long 3-day weekend before the US market opens again, the S&P is at much higher levels. There's a lot of optimism right now, and this is very good to see. This is very good. We're seeing a lot of this fear that we've been seeing earlier this year and last year fade away. As you can see, very aggressive V-shaped recovery, and we're going much higher. It's what it looks like at the moment. The VIX is very, very low. I do expect this to eventually pump. I'm keeping my eyes on it because I want to do a VIX trade soon. Because I do, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of the optimism we have, there's, corrections have to happen. We've seen this 120 moving average on the S&P hold very, very well, while at the same time, Bitcoin has sort of been trailing. It's been influenced by the optimism we've been seeing in the broad market, but it has not been as much as, for example, in the S&P. And the Nasdaq has been looking good too. So what I want to pay attention to and what I want to talk about is all just going to be my opinion, the way I'm approaching it, and what I'm personally doing. I'm not telling anyone to copy, but it's to understand the bigger macro, what we have as influences, right, coming into potentially this next trading week as we get started in July. So yeah, the war stuff, how all of that pretty much faded away. We're still waiting to see what kind of news or negotiations are going to come out of this. We're still waiting on that. For the Fed interest rate cuts that we're expecting in the future, the jobs report was good, which makes it easier for the Fed to hold rates. So right now, a big indicator is just going to be what the CPI looks like as we approach those release dates as well. So CPI is a big deal now as well. And what's coming back up, what's kind of stepping itself back up and putting itself out there in the headlines is the tariffs. We have a lot more, tariff news coming out. There's some tariff pressure building up. And I believe that could be a great reason, besides the price action, why we're seeing Bitcoin dipping within this support area. Now, this is a very, very important area, in my opinion. And I talked about this yesterday before we were in it. We were above it, and I highlighted the importance of this area. Basically, I'm not paying attention to this one anymore. I'm going to leave it there, but it's in the past. What I want to see now, and the reason I said this is because, well, in previous videos I kept saying I want to try to see a higher low overall. It couldn't break into the yellow retracement, but that's fine. I used the top as a support, which is good enough. And the main point is that the rally broke the swing high that we have right here, and it broke this previous swing high, filled this previous extension area that's acting as a resistance, refilled it, broke above it, and now we're trying to see if 112K is a potential area to keep an eye on. So this is very, very important, because if we break below this can pretty much just invalidate the possibility of using the 120 moving average and proper retracement within this area as support, and it can start influencing bears to take over and push the price lower. Now, I'm not, highly expecting this to just fail. Instead, I'm expecting this to hold, and then a bullish correction, recovery, trying to go up higher with a new retracement that will form at the time, which actually I can put it up right now because we finally went into the yellow that I was talking about yesterday. So this is the very, very important area, backed up with as of right now, this is what the retracement will look like for that. It's very, very highly probable right now, due to the macroeconomics, just world beginning to weaken when it comes to optimism. It's fading away. The S&P is very much overextended. It can easily go up much, much higher, but any weakness within it can pump the VIX, in my opinion, and that can start causing a lot of fear. And we could potentially see, as this weekend volume continues to do its thing, we can see Bitcoin's liquidity sort of try to push it up within this area to balance out this dip that we have, and then find resistance before the price goes down lower. And at this point, if it fails to break over, um, at this point 109.385k, so 109,385k. If it fails to break over this and it starts showing weakness and it tries to retest the swing low, then it's very, very much possible that I can break the swing low, create it's not super, I said this yesterday, it's not super clear textbook, but it is close enough for me to want to say, for a lot of you that like head and shoulders pattern, it can create one right here where it's as simple as, the price. Oh, 1 second. I don't know what I just did there. There you go. Where it can look like this, where, it comes down higher, comes down, finds support, go up into resistance, and then it breaks down lower. It can create that very, very simple pattern that we've seen so many, many times, where the price is trying to flush out certain liquidity, rather it's leverage longs, short-term leverage longs, and try to let the bears do their thing to finally finish an overall correction. Because at the end of the day, even though we do have bullish confirmation at the moment, this bullishness and this price action is mainly due to hype, FOMO, optimism in the overall markets, influencing the price, and then the structures alone influencing it. So this is a very, very weak bullish confirmation. I believe it can fail very easily. So I'm looking and I'm conserving capital, and I showed this, or I talked about it in yesterday's video, and then on Wednesday's video, I did show the swing trade. So I'll show it again soon enough once I add more to it. But basically the point I'm trying to make is that this is a very, very important area, because it allows us to have a test of resistance to try to see if the price is strong enough to just continue pushing the price higher and go up into the green. Although, and just in my own opinion, I don't believe it's as strong or as likely as the price, finding resistance, continuing momentum lower, try to fill in this area one more time, because this swing low from here is very shallow in my opinion. The retracement was very weak. It wasn't filling it as much as I would like to see, and it looks very, very similar to the 2024 breakout, where at this time the overall retracement was orange. We broke into it, went up higher. It looked like right, because we went up higher, created a higher low, broke the resistance with the price, strong momentum higher, and then it was just a bullish fake out, letting the price come down, fill the retracement better at that 0.5 retracement. So it's a lot more appropriate, it's a lot more aggressive, more attractive to see 0.5s being broken. At this time, it was 95,437. So it's very, very possible we can see something like that happen now, because regardless, this, or where are we? We're right here. So this rally that we've been seeing cannot break swing high, which the overall swing high, which is all-time high. We have a very weak break into not hitting the 0.5. We're very much far away from it, but breaking into the overall retracement. And now we're just trying to see, the price go up higher, where it creates a higher low, breaks the swing high, potentially creating a bullish fake out. This is going to be a very, very important point to, not just focus on position sizing, but to focus on SLs and how you're really approaching Bitcoin, at least in the short term, because we've seen this before, and the environment we're in right now is very, very similar to the one in 2024 when it comes to the macro environment. So I would not be surprised if we just see the price fluctuate, do a sting, find resistance, come down lower, try to have a deeper retest of this purple. But regardless, I'm positioned for much higher prices throughout this year, as I talked about yesterday. So regardless, on rather we do have a further proper test of support within this retracement below 100k once again. Rather that happens, or we just hold support, break resistance in blue, and then make a new swing high from here and just start going up higher. It doesn't matter. I am already well positioned for that, and I am also well positioned to lower my cost basis and add a lot more to my swing trade to make it even better and maximize profit to the upside. So I'm in a good position for whatever happens. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you are very, very much focused just on the short term, like trading for just the rest of July, just understand that the macro is changing. There's new fears that are starting to peak. They're starting to like come out once again. And so far the jobs report is favoring rate cuts holding. We're waiting on that CPI, and then we're waiting for the actual rate meeting. But as of right now, um, even the S&P, even Bitcoin, they're up. They're up. So at this point, if you're using this as a point to aggressively jump in my opinion, you're just potentially buying at premium instead of buying at discount. And then don't be surprised if we go down lower. Now it's very much possible we can go higher, but again, until we finally break into this green, I've said this in many, many videos, I am still looking for a proper retest of this retracement. So what I'm looking for is opportunities to add more to the swing trade. It is the weekend, so I can't add to BitU. Long weekend, basically, the market's not open. I cannot add to BitU. So I'm going to let this do its thing, see if we find resistance, come down, and then I'll have an opportunity to add at this swing low. I'll be able to create and give you guys new fib extensions, which will act as support once we come up. If this blue holds as resistance and we go down low and we start pushing lower, then I'll be able to give you guys I'll give you guys an estimate right now, but it will look something like this, where we come down. We're not in that blue just yet, but once we do, and let's say we go up to right here, so between the 0.5 and the 0.628, just as a estimate at the moment, then support can look something like this, where then we can try to take small long positions to try to profit off of a recovery into a new retracement that we will have at the time. So let's say the price, just to give some context and an estimate at the moment, let's say the price comes down and it hits 104.5k, finds support and goes higher. We'll say 104.8k, right? So we'll just have that as an estimate. And then at this point, we're looking for a test of resistance within a retracement before the price continues going down lower. At that point, it'll be a good idea for any small long positions that were accumulated here within support. Then pretty good take profit point, and it can look like this again. Once again, go into resistance. It will allow this to get factored in, come down, and this can be fluctuative as well, but we can see some Elliott waves within it. Try to find support, go up into resistance, and then finish it off. And we'll be using this as an indicator on whether or not how strong the support is going to be when it comes to the bigger picture as well. These are just estimates at the moment. The support and this resistance could change very, very easily. These are just estimates at the moment. But again, I'm just trying to spread caution with not being overly optimistic, because again, pay attention to the macro, pay attention to CPI, jobs report, how that can influence the Fed, and then understand where we are in the bigger picture and whether or not we are premium or discounted in the short term. So I'll keep you guys updated. There's a lot of opportunities right here. There could be a potential shorting opportunity soon. I don't think it will last very long. But there's an opportunity there to make profit, in my opinion. And then there'll be, even if we do come down into this purple, there's still opportunity to make long positions for profit taking, and then continuing and going back and forth until we can establish a better support. And then as we continue lower, as we continue into any new support areas, I'll show as it happens, then I'll be adding to that overall swing trade to take advantage of much, much higher prices. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.